Good morning and welcome to this morning edition of Newspaper Review on Osbc Television, Iliawiyoke, Valley of Shogbo, Osun State, Nigeria. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga is my name, and this morning we have quite numbers of newspaper to review with you this morning, and I can assure you that we are going to be doing justice to the fact that we'll be educating and we'll be giving information and entertaining you at the same time. And to begin with this morning, let me introduce my guest. I have Citizen Olawe on board this morning. You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, moving on to the first newspaper this morning, I would like us to visit the front page of Tribune. The federal government have alleged Obi and Dati and for treason, and Obi knocks like Mohammed because he was the one who spoke on behalf of the federal government. Do you think now this is coming out after the aftermath of the 2023 general election? What do you say to this particular thing going on at the national level?
It is quite unfortunate that we find ourselves in this condition at this moment. But I think the foundation for this was laid a long time ago that nobody paid attention to. The foundation was laid when former President Olusegun Obasanjo alleged President Muhammad Buhari of attempts to Islamize and Fulanize Nigeria. It was at that time that he should have been called to order.
Okay.
Because everything that happened thereafter was a reaction
to what he said,
to that allegation of Fulanization and Islamization of Nigeria. And we do not need to play the ethnic and religious card when we're talking about
politics and governance.
Yes. Because what we need, the criteria for determining the candidate, the best candidate for
to govern Nigeria,
yes, is competence, capacity, character, and loyalty
to Nigeria.
And compassion for humanity.
That is, you're ready to serve the people.
Yes, and that you feel what they feel.
All right, thank you so much. So moving on, now we're in the moving. We just moved out of the first quarter of 2023, but on the front page of Tribune we have 8 students abducted in Kaduna. Do you think this should still be the trend, despite the fact that cash crunch is still biting harder in Nigeria? Do you think we should still be in this situation?
That policy, although was said to be
the best for us,
yes, to also to address the issue of insecurity.
Okay.
But I want to tell you that didn't happen. That didn't happen because you don't have to pay in naira to pay ransom. When people were kidnapped, ransom were paid in dollar and in other forms. We had situations where the bandits demanded for foodstuff and other things. So denying us of access to our money was just to punish us, to cause us to inflict unnecessary pains on us.
So you're saying the issue of insecurity is not being addressed yet?
It is not being addressed yet. It's a different ball game. The factors responsible for the level of insecurity that we have in Nigeria is not yet addressed. Although, because we have reduced every action to military action, we believe it is only through military action that the issue of insecurity can be addressed. No, there are so many things responsible for the level of insecurity that are not being addressed. Nigerians are many Nigerians are unemployed, and then we have glamorized. We celebrate money back, so everybody wants to become very rich overnight. The glamour life, the ostentatious lifestyle of our elites is not helping the situation. And then the fact that we also play ethnic and religious, I would say, politics, does not also encourage people to speak up, to give information, and then the level of corruption in the country is also not encouraging people to give useful information to security agencies. These people are the security agencies are not spirits. They need information to work with. Without information, they can't do the needful. And without the citizens having absolute confidence, trust in government, useful information will not go out.
Thank you so much. Now, moving on to the front page of Blueprint, we have fuel subsidy, Naira redesign pose danger to Nigeria economy. Like as you rightly said, this is actually posing a big threat to our daily lives and our living. And then yes, it's still on this the Blueprint.
Let me say one thing.
Okay.
The cash currency swap policy has resulted in loss of many lives. So many lives were lost because people who were on certain medication could not access the drugs, not because they didn't have money, but because they didn't have access to the money. Businesses collapsed because people didn't have money to patronize the businesses. I saw the video of a poultry farm that had in fact I don't know what to say when I saw the quantity of eggs that they have, and I know that eggs cannot be stored for too long. So I don't know how that kind of business will come out of the situation they found themselves in. It wasn't this bad during coronavirus pandemic period. It wasn't. We had access to our money. We had access to food.
Yes.
What we didn't have was freedom of movement.
We just hope this whole thing will just be addressed in no time. And yes, moving on, still on the Blueprint, fears as killings, kidnapping escalate in Kaduna, Kogi, Kano, and Niger. You see, now it is now moving away from only Kaduna, because as we can rightly see at the front page of Blueprint earlier, it was just that 8 students were adopted in Kaduna. But now Blueprint is telling us that even aside Kaduna, there are still killings and kidnapping in Kogi, Kano, and Niger. What do you think we can do to this so make it work?
I have a feeling that some of those kidnappings, killings might not be unconnected with politics. And like I said earlier, we need to address the root cause of these problems to be on top of it. If we keep reacting to symptoms, the problem will remain with us. And that is what we've been doing. We've been reacting to the symptoms. We need to dig deep and identify the root causes of this high level of insecurity that we're experiencing in Nigeria, and then uproot the problem, and that is when we will overcome it. All
right, thank you so much. Moving on to daily this day, on the front page of this day, we have Trump pleads not guilty to over 34 felony counts after arrest. He was a president of the United States, and then him being arrested for 34 charges, crimes. You see, can we have something like this in Nigeria?
We can, if we really want to. We really want to. And then it's the first American president to be charged with criminal
charges.
To have criminal charges levied against him, and then it's an evidence that no one should be above the law. Unfortunately, here in Nigeria, the law is usually for the masses, and that is where I find it. I do not understand what they mean when they say plea bargaining. But because the poor man has nothing to bargain with, so he's at the mercy of those who are to deliver judgment. But the real thing, the ideal thing is for the law to be applied equally. to everybody. Nobody should be above the law, because we are all equal before the law.
Okay, thank you so much. Now moving on to business day. There's this headline that Nigeria's debt per citizen hit 217,136 naira amid rising poverty. Now the level of poverty in Nigeria is rising day by day. Yeah. How do you think you can address this too?
Yes, I know nations need to take loans. They can't avoid taking loans, but whatever loans that is to be taken must be for a productive venture and must be the one that can pay back itself. But unfortunately, because of the level of corruption in Nigeria, the loans that are being taken are never used for the purpose for which they were obtained. And then the cost of projects done has usually overbloated to the detriment of Nigerians in Nigeria. And then the most painful part of it is that international countries, foreign countries know that these monies are stolen and they are taken outside Nigeria to countries where it is sometimes difficult to trace. So for us to defeat this situation, overcome this situation, we need the support, the collaboration of foreign countries, especially the superpowers, United States of America. Yes, I'm glad with what they are doing with the money stolen by Abacha.
Okay, yes.
That is now being repatriated and are now being put into good use. Yes. Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is ongoing. The Kaduna, the Abuja-Kano Expressway was done. Yes. And then we have the second Niger Bridge.
Yes.
Also ongoing. So these are good. Yes, one may look at it and say these infrastructural facilities are not going to yield any revenue. But when you have good network of roads.
Right. Yes, on one of the headlines that we have, APC governors meet today as race for 10th National Assembly leadership intensifies. Now you see, we have newbies now being elected as a representative in the National Assembly. Now we have those who were there before now, and now APC governors are meeting today to see into how the leadership of the National Assembly is going to go. What do you say to this?
I think they're doing that is necessary because of what happened in 2015 when the choice of the party didn't emerge as the leaders of both the Senate and the House of Rep. In the Senate we have Senator Bukola Saraki, while in the House of Rep we had I can't remember the name of the speaker, but I remember the deputy speaker was Honorable Lasun Yusuf. Yes. They were not the actual choices of the party. But because a decision was not taken in time to come up with a united front and present in specific candidates to occupy those offices, made it possible for some members of the party to work with members of opposition parties to come up with a leader that was not the choice of the party. So it's a good thing that they are working ahead of time to ensure that it's the choice of the party that will occupy the leadership positions in the National Assembly.
All right, thank you so much. On the first page of the Punch, we have a Afenifere crisis dipping. Youth ask Ade Banjo to step down.
It is unfortunate because I think Baba Ade Banjo brought this upon himself. The Afenifere group seems to have now been factionalized. There is the Baba Fashionoti faction and the Adebanjo's faction. I think what Baba Adebanjo should have done was to take the back seat and not be at the forefront of endorsing a particular party. He can't speak for me because he didn't ask for my opinion. He can't speak for me. He didn't ask for my opinion. He should have taken a back seat and watch as things unfold. He can guide people privately, but not coming out openly, say, I endorse this person, this is the person that won the election, this is it. So he is the architect of his fate.
Thank you so much. Now, still on the punch, we have foreign investors Sean Kano, Ogun, and other 24 states, and including Rivers. Why do you think foreign investor would shun the over 27 states in Nigeria?
Yes, I think it's as a result of the level of violence and then the level of insecurity. There was violence, and there's still violence in Rivers State. Violence in Kano. People died, they lost their lives. People lost their lives in Rivers. I think there's some level of violence and insecurity also in Ogun State.
Yes. And
in some of those other 27 states. So those are the issues that must be addressed. When there's high level of insecurity, no foreign investor will come to such a country because life is important.
Okay, now there's one coming from Sanusi, still on the Punch newspaper. Nigeria more divided than Civil War era. Do you think we are divided right now? I
agree with you. I attended a federal government college, and I while we were in school, we saw ourselves as Nigerians. I didn't even know. It's now that I know that I'm Yoruba. It's now that I know that I'm a Christian. And that was why I said that when former President Olusegun Obasanjo wrote that satanic letter alleging President Buhari of attempting to Islamize and Fulanize Nigeria, well-meaning Nigeria should have spoken out at that time to call him to order. If that had been done, we wouldn't have realized that some people are not as Nigerian as we are. We are all Nigerians. Definitely. And we must remain Nigerians, and that's why I am a citizen of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Now moving on to Daily Trust newspaper, we have Obi Oyedepo's leak audio. We don't track phone conversations. That was credited to NCC. You could remember the saga between Peter Obi and Bishop Oyedepo as regards that phone conversation, and later on Bishop Oyedepo came out to say every one of them called me to pray for them, ask questions, and definitely attend to them. So do you think we should continue with this trend of one particular bishop or pastor is endorsing this particular person?
I think first of all, let me say it is not the duty of NCC to track telephone conversation. The job of NCC is to ensure, to monitor the activities of the various telecommunication companies.
Yes.
However, I said it earlier when I read it in the paper that Equa Church was going to come out with a statement to indicate, to endorse a particular
candidate.
And I said it is not the responsibility of any religious organization to endorse any candidate, because we know that religion in Nigeria is a highly sensitive issue. And then in every religious organization, we have members of different political parties. As heads, as leaders of religious organizations, they should just pray for all of them and distance themselves as much as possible from those, and also not deliver sermons that will give the impression that they favor one over the other, which was what happened before, during and after the 2023 election. And that is what has resulted in the audio being leaked, whether it is true, whether it is deep fake, whether it is edited, whether it never happened, only God knows now. But if room had not been created for such things to have been done, if they have distanced themselves, if they have treated all equally and fairly, this kind of allegation will not be coming.
Thank you so much. Now moving on to Daily Sun, there is this headline that Human Rights Commission recalls 22 hate speech incidents in the last elections.
I think I recorded more than that. I recorded more than that. You see, I read speeches, sermons being given by clerics, especially Christian clerics,
yes, supporting
a particular candidate
or party.
Yes, which I think was an aberration. Each political candidates should not go near religious organizations to campaign or for endorsements, because they know that religion is a very sensitive issue in Nigeria, and that will divide Nigeria according to religion line, just the way ethnicity was also weaponized and used before, during and after the election. It's the aftermath of all that we are seeing now.
Thank you so much. Now moving to Daily Asset. Goba rerun, PDP wants Adamawa Reg to recuse self.
Well, if what we make every party, every stakeholder in the rerun election to have confidence in the election is removing the reg, I think it should be done. It should be done. He can be brought back after the election. They can make him to take a back seat for now, and let's bring in a neutral person to oversee the rerun election, after which then he can continue with his work. Okay. So that there be confidence in the outcome of that rerun election. If the rerun election is done, no matter how the level of fairness, no matter how free, the fact that these people no longer have confidence in the reg will affect their the credibility of the election. It wouldn't affect the credibility. It is the acceptance. Okay. Will they accept it? Yes. Will they see it as being fair? Will they see it as being free? Will they see it as being credible? Okay. Now let's look at this last one on the first page of Tribune. Reps condemn calls for interim government. Let's quickly look at this and we'll use that to wrap up. I think interim government is alien to our constitution. When there's an election, and we've always had elections being challenged, the outcomes of elections being challenged in Nigeria, that does not warrant the invitation of military to take over or the introduction of interim government. It is not, our constitution does not know anything called interim government. An election has taken place, somebody has been declared the winner. Anybody that is not satisfied with the result of the election has the right to go to court. And by the time the court cases are decided in favor of either of the parties, the party that is favored takes over, becomes the authentic occupier of that office. That does not mean that because the outcome of an election is being challenged, that we now say that there should be an interim government. I don't think that is right. All right, thank you so much for joining us on Newspaper Review this morning. And yes, this is what we're wrapping up on today's edition of Newspaper Review. Do enjoy the rest of our program. Until when my guest and mine come your way again, she remains a citizen Lola, and I remain Oluwatobiloba Odunuga. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good morning.